Hello, it is Rachel from 7 and All, and today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of my homeschool room. Hi, I am a second generation homeschooler, and I am always here on YouTube sharing nerdy homeschool videos with you, and this is very much a nerdy homeschool video. Apparently, this is something that homeschool moms like, is we like to have a peek into each other's homeschool rooms to see how the organization is happening and to see all the fun books on the bookshelves. So that is what we are doing today. I have shared tours before, but I have to update my organization a little bit each year. So this is my homeschool room tour for 2025, and I'll share a little bit about my system, how I adjust it to the needs of the season that I'm in, and yeah, let's get started. First up, yes, I want to note that this is my homeschool space, and it is also the corner of my kitchen, and it is also where we eat our meals every day at this same table. So you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, you don't need a homeschool room. And yeah, you don't need a homeschool room as in a room that is only and solely for homeschool, but it's really helpful to have a dedicated place where all of your supplies, materials can stay organized, where your kids can be in the routine of this is where we do school each day. So I do have a homeschool room, but it's also my kitchen. It's just double duty. I mean, a lot of rooms are double duty. And here's our toy area, which that one belongs to the boys, so there's Manitows scattered everywhere. But here, let's get started. I'm gonna start by showing off my cart. So all the boys' just daily work, independent workbooks will be here. You'll maybe spy a few familiar things like math, Beast Academy. We've got a little Kumon workbook. Their various workbooks are here, notebook, and then our supplies. I've got a little cup for pencils, for paintbrushes, pens. We've got our paints. But what you should really notice about this cart, let's step back a second here. What you should really notice about this cart is that it is severely underused. Only the top shelf is used, and I do not recommend this. You know, it would be great to have a cart and to really fully utilize the space. However, I have a 1-year-old, and in this season of life, I'm not putting anything down here anymore because all that's going to happen is he's going to make it his new hobby to unpack the cart 57 times a day. So I am not using these shelves for now. Eventually, I will get back to using those shelves, but for now, this is what we can do. The top shelf only is full. Then over here, we have my big bookshelves. And the main idea with organizing books is just have some kind of system, the one that works best for you and the one that clicks with your brain the most. So really, I just have my books sorted by either if they are all part of some literature-based curriculum, I keep all the books for that curriculum together, or I will sort them by general type or topic of book. So you can kind of just see how that plays out here. This is a shelf I have for readers. Many of these readers are Spanish readers and things that we're working into for my oldest son as he begins reading more in Spanish. I do have some of his upcoming books. I have suggestions for him for English as well. I don't have as many English ones here because my mom has a lot of English beginner reader type books, and I mainly just go to her shelves and pull off a handful for future books that we might read. I think he'll like some of these slightly historical or legends from Usborne type of readers. So this is kind of my little reader shelf and collection of options. We've got our Dash into Learning readers here for my little guy. Then this is the shelf for our morning time things for the most part, or the things that we keep coming back to for morning time. So like our Bible that we're reading every day, our homeschool language is Spanish that we are doing a lesson from every day. In here we have our songs that we're learning. So that is morning time stuff. Here I have my magical junk drawer of art supplies. It's a mess in there, but it has, you know, the tape, the scrap paper, the random recycling pieces of cardboard, beads, Play-Doh, paint, you know, all the things that maybe in this season of life don't need to be visible to the children, but you do want to have accessible. Then these are all my nice, beautiful book collection for the Curious Kinder, and just feast your eyes on those gorgeous titles. These are great books. These are all ones that we're going through as we're going through Curious Kinder. But most of these are used for, a week, or some of the chapter books are used for longer. So I just keep all these here and pull whichever ones we're doing that week in the morning. Then here, this is mainly curriculum that I'm using for my younger son right now. So we have his kindergarten math, we have his sketchbook for his art, we have his All About Reading, and I have my Curious Kinder guide right here. A couple of overflow books for Curious Kinder because I couldn't fit them all into one cubby. We've got Llamitas for him. So that's kind of his shelf of things that I need to pull out, not just little independent workbooks, but things that I need to pull out that we're using for now. And I have my photo albums, my planners, my portfolio. This is how I store the boy's work. You see, this was when he was a little tiny preschooler finger painting a tree. If they make something that just makes my mama heart proud, it goes into their little portfolios, and I gradually build those up over years. And they have their baby books and their birthday books in plastic because it helps them not get moldy in our climate. Here's my shelf of picture books. This is really mixed in English and in Spanish. It's not sorted at all by language. This is mostly just the type of really easy, really short picture book. This is the shelf my boys have gone to for years to just pull out when they want they just want mama to read them a story. And it's all mixed. It's not divided by language at this point. At one point it was, but at this point we're not really picking these out based on language, just on, hey, they want to hear this book, this story, and these are good short ones that we can read at any time. Then we have our library shelf. Highly recommend, whether it's a shelf or a basket, keep your library books in one place separate from everywhere else. Next, these lower shelves are the books that I'm not using as much right now, and I've really tried to make my organization somewhat ergonomically friendly, because I don't necessarily want to be getting on the floor all the time. So all those books down there are history or geography related books. Many of them were ones we used with Sequence 1. Some are books that I've just gradually collected and I'm holding on to till different points in history and in geography. And they're just staying right there for now. They're not ones I'm going to all the time. This shelf right here is my collection of Spanish picture books that are more advanced. So these are not necessarily the really short ones that we're reading all the time. They're great books. A lot of them came recommended from Beautiful Mundo Spanish. Some of them are other ones that I've just found and gathered up over the years as I'm trying to build a Spanish library that we can go to again and again over the years. And as we finish Homeschool Languages 2, this is what I'm planning to work more into our morning time again, is really reading and diving into Spanish picture books after we've laid that foundation of oral Spanish. This next shelf over here is a collection of science related. About half of that shelf is ocean science related books, and that was for Gentle and Classical Nature 2. And then the other half of the shelf is farm science related books, and that's going to be for Gentle and Classical Agricultural Science, which we will do in the future. We're not there yet, but I've been slowly gathering a couple of titles for that. Then to move over a bit, I have some workbooks that are waiting for us that we're not quite into that level yet, or a planner that will be my next planner, kind of just stored down there in that corner. I have Sunlight, pretty much I think that's all Sunlight Pre-K on that shelf, which we're not using right now, but some of those books are just fun and we like to pull them out from time to time to read at random. Then this shelf is a little bit more difficult to get to because of the position of this big heavy table here. So I don't tend to keep the stuff that I'm using on this shelf. This shelf tends to be more for storage and things that we'll pull out eventually, or I just need a safe place to store these books for now. So down here on the bottom shelf, that is all geography related picture books, ones that we read when we were doing Around the World with picture books. And I'm a little bit torn on what to do with those long term because I don't think I will do Around the World with Picture Books again as a curriculum. However, when I look at the titles of those books, I really, really like a lot of those books. And I do want to read the books again, but it might be more in a different context, or maybe we'll just structure our geography learning differently and not pull those in as we're learning about different continents and countries. So I'm a little bit torn, still deciding, but for now, they're safely stored away there. On the next shelves, we have some of our Bible book resources, and then to the side of this is pretty much all read aloud options for the future. Yeah, I don't think we've read any of these yet. So these are read aloud options for the future. I've got some Spanish chapter books there as well. We're not up to reading Spanish chapter books yet, but you know, hey, when we get there, they're ready for us. And then I've got my shelves of board books. I've got 2 shelves of board books. Some of these board books are rather chewed on by now. This is definitely not even the worst one. You know, we're 3 babies into this. Some of the board books are more carefully protected because they're very much beloved by me. Well, this one is showing some wear and tear too. And the board books are also just a mix of Spanish and English, variety there, here. But I do tend to keep some that he can just look at by himself and just chew up if that's what he needs to do that day. But then others of the books are more for actually reading to him. So we got our little board book collection. Then up higher we have the rest of my storage, including our little blow up globe, which is a good option if you don't have a real globe. But that has come in handy. These are mainly different levels of curriculum that are not in use right now. So, you know, it'd be difficult to be pulling out books from a horizontal stack like that. So anything that I'm actually using, I do not store like this. I store it like this. But for the things that are not in use right now, so this is Gentle and Classical Preschool here. I've got our next level of language lessons. This is 2nd grade Math with Confidence. Anything like that, that's a different grade level that I'm just storing until the next time we use it with my next kid, then that tends to go here. And you can also see I have a variety of just activities and supplies. So the toddler's little sensory tubes, some little fish for counting, little set of eggs for shape matching. So these are kind of like the toddler's little learning toys for when I do something like that with him. And we've got some puzzles and games, and these boxes just have various puzzles or little learning games in them as well. And I also have our markers and crayons, and then the stapler, erasers, that type of those types of school supplies are right here. Now, why are they here? Well, remember the cart that I can't use right now because of the toddler? That's why they're here. In my ideal world, things like our little tiles for All About Reading, or our flashcards, or the school supplies would probably be down on the cart, but that's not realistic with a toddler. I need to keep these things safe and organized and high up. So you can see that I use height to keep these little things out of my toddler's reach. Meanwhile, the shelves that are down at the bottom within his reach, I tend to keep those bottom shelves packed pretty tightly because that really just makes it harder for him to pull all the books off the shelves. Oh, one more shelf I should show you over here is my math shelf. So that clear box is my math supply box for Math with Confidence. The little green box right there has all the pattern blocks for Math with Confidence, and that section of books is all my math picture books. So kind of keeping all the math stuff stored, and you can also see I have 1st grade ready and waiting for when my younger son is ready for 1st grade math. And then that right there on the wall behind me is our verb chart from Homeschool Languages that has the verb cards that we're working on practicing their conjugations every day. All right, that is a glimpse into my homeschool room. Let me know in the comments, do you guys have a dedicated homeschool room? Do you have a dual purpose homeschool room? And what's your favorite homeschool organization tip? I can't wait to hear. Bye.